As the name implies, herbicides are used to manage weeds. So utilizing them in a large field or even a small scale is an option. We want to be mindful and cautious of how to best utilize them if it's an option that we are considering. Here on DeBacco University, we're going to provide you with some information about using herbicides to manage weeds in a cannabis field. With any method of weed control, you should research it fully. So here, if you're considering herbicides, we're going to get into some of the specifics here and relate it to cannabis. So first off, you always want to check with your current state laws and your regulations. Make sure what you're looking at is also current for the growing year, because just as it was current last year doesn't mean it's going to be current this year. So you want to be mindful of that you're following the current laws and regulations. I provided a link here. Connecticut has provided some guidance relating to assortment of pesticides for hemp and medical marijuana production. So this can be used as a guide if you're not from Connecticut to kind of get an idea of what some options may be or what some of the rules, laws, and regulations may look like. Now, often this is a limited list when in regards to cannabis. Common active ingredients occur a few listed here, maybe some name brands that you might be familiar with. I know Avenger, very commonly used because it is OMRI certified. For most weeds, grasses, and broadleaves, you can use 20% vinegar, citric acid, corn gluten. There are a lot of options, but it might be a limited list compared to what some other chemicals that might be implemented or utilized in other production methods. Now, herbicides cautions just in general. So this is just in general. Know what weed or weed species are the main target. To say, I want an herbicide to kill everything, maybe you're trying to target a particular weed species. Watch for potential drift. The finer the droplets made, the further they will travel in wind events. Physically, a physical spray barrier is great when row applying, especially if there's crops present. Keep in mind also of any signage you may have to be posting, as well as the wind and timing of your application. Be sure you have different nozzles. If you're looking especially at a large scale, make sure your pressure is regulated. These are all just general things when spraying anything, but in particular with herbicides. So when we're looking at herbicides, we're looking also at when is it, quote, rain fast. And when we say rain fast, that means stuck to the actual leaf. This is important particularly for outdoor production that might have dew coming in or rain events. Typically, a hot and dry morning is the best application time. One, the plant will be the weeds plant will be starting to grow a little bit more aggressively, and that may make your herbicide application more effective. And also the rain fast time allow it to adhere to the leaf, bind to the leaf, and reduce the chance of it running off. For some common products here, you can see a whole list in the hours until rain fast, some taking 6 to 8 hours, some rain fast in basically 1 or potentially less than 1. So again, just a little comparison here. If you know the particular product you're using, how many hours until it's rain fast here? Not that you want to play the line, but just good information to be aware of. So in regards to cannabis production, even if you're going to consider using herbicides and they are permitted, you want to limit spraying to early part of plant development, particularly the veg side of the growing cycle. You want to avoid late season applications, as this could easily cause it to enter the plant and show up in potential quality tests, causing your end product to potentially fail inspection. So again, if you are using herbicides, even if they are approved, favor applying them early in the season to reduce the chance of your end product failing any sort of inspection. Last one, we're looking at herbicides. Where would we utilize them? Well, they're commonly used to prevent weeds from growing up fences. They're also commonly used to prevent shortening of electrical fences. So in this example or this case, this might be far from your actual plants, and this is why it's important to be considerate of potential for drift. So even if you're not applying them next to or in row, this is another very common application of where they're made. Just be mindful of drift and potential barriers or distances you need to be, particularly with growing cannabis.